Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel in partnership with sharpbetting.co.uk. Delighted as always to be joined by Danny. We have just seen TEOFIMO Lopez become the first man to defeat Arnold Barboza Jr. in New York City tonight. Danny, good to be joined by you as always, or can always count on you to stay up for these nights. Here we are again. Give us your thoughts. A unanimous decision win by TEOFIMO Lopez tonight.
Yeah, not sure if that's a compliment, Story, but I will take it as one. Yeah, TEOFIMO Lopez, a comprehensive enough winner for me tonight. I had it scored 117, 111, so 9 rounds to 3. Thought the first half of the fight was quite competitive. I thought the early rounds, first three, maybe the first two were swing rounds. Lopez I gave the third, but Barboza had a shout for all three of the remaining rounds in the first six, and then second half, I thought Teo took over. The hand speed was too much for Barboza. Was able to, when he got on the back foot, Lopez, Barboza struggled. Head movement was really good. So a good performance from Teofimo Lopez. But you do always feel, I do anyway, watching him, that there's more gears there. I thought if he showed the urgency he showed in the 12th round, potentially a few rounds earlier, he could have maybe stopped Arnold Barboza, which obviously tonight was a good win for him, but that would have been a really big statement. I didn't see too many people predicting him to get a stoppage. But still, good performance, good win, and yeah, enjoyed it.
Oh, and as you've said that about enjoying it, I do want to ask you, Danny, did you enjoy it in terms of did you find it did you find it entertaining? I'm asking you because you watch a lot of boxing, and you can't expect every fight to kind of be like Fury Wilder 3 and have you ever have you on the edge of your seat. Not every fighter or every fight is like that. But did you actually enjoy it?
I think enjoy when you mention it, like you can appreciate like there's some really good moments from Teofimo Lopez in fights, some really good 5, 6 second spells where he does look like a generational fighter at times and a fighter worthy of the billing he gets. But there is a bit too much coasting, you know what I mean? There's never that sense of going through the gears and like there's talk of him fighting Boots Ennis, which I think we might come on to. Like Boots could he coasted against Chikadzian, but against Stanionis, like that's what it looks like when a pound for pound fighter goes through the gears, and we're yet to really see that from Lopez. Even the Lomachenko win, which obviously I'm not trying to do anything to discredit, it wasn't like breathtaking in terms of he's dominated. He's put his punches together and he's forced the stoppage. The Josh Taylor fight, great performance, but again lacking that exclamation mark. And it's a sort of recurrent theme in Teofimo Lopez fights, as talented as he is.
Yeah, for sure. I've always found Lopez just very hot and cold, but you can't kind of deny his talent. Just want to touch on where Lopez is at now, Danny. He did mention in the post-fight interview about moving up. He didn't kind of say he was definitely going to do it. He just kind of said, I've been to wait for a while. If he wasn't to move up and was to stay at 140, do you consider him to be the best super lightweight in the planet? Richardson Hitchens is obviously a world champion who's undefeated. Subriel Matias is another fantastic fighter, I think. But yeah, I'll let you. What are your thoughts? Is Lopez the best for you?
I think you've got to have him as the best. He's got the best resume for my money of any of the champions. Um, I think him versus Richard Hitchens is it's not a foregone conclusion. Foregone conclusion. Stylistically, Hitchens very much on the back foot, quite long, tall for the weight, which is a style that Theo struggled with. You look at the Jermaine Ortiz fight, the Sandor Martin fight, and I would have Richards and Hitchens a better fighter than both of them. But in terms of pure resume, you've got to give it to Teofimo Lopez. In terms of pure talent, probably as well. But doesn't mean there's not fighters in the division who will think, and rightfully so, that he is beatable because, as you alluded to, he's hot and cold, and consistency is part of being a good fighter. You know what I mean? There's no point being the best fighter in the division, one in every 3 fights. You got to do it consistently. But I do think he's the best at light welterweight at the minute. Yeah.
No, brilliant. And mentioned John Ennis there. John Ennis coming off a career best performance against Stanionis a few weeks ago now. Is that a fight you can possibly see happening? Ennis, I don't know what you know, but I think it's maybe a bit unclear what he's going to do next, and is he going to finally move up to 154? Is that a fight you can see happening?
Not sure because obviously Ennis picked up another world title against Stanionis, but it sounds like the Shakran Giasov mandatory for the WBA belt is going to be enforced pretty quickly. Eddie Hearn's talked about, pursuing undisputed, but I'm sure Turkey's probably been impressed if he watched much of the fight tonight by Teofimo Lopez. So maybe him versus Ennis is a fight they'll look to make. Um, Ennis is too big for him, though. I think too big and too good. Not just a matter of being big. You have to be more than big to beat Teofimo Lopez, but they're on a par at best for Teofimo Lopez in terms of talent. But Ennis is so much bigger, punches hard. Um, but it's a fight. It would be a big fight. I don't think it would be a mega fight. I don't think either has crossover appeal, although Ennis's trajectory is on the up. So I think it would have to be a Riyadh season backed fight to happen for it to work commercially because Teo is known for demanding pretty high purses.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I personally would be shocked if that fight happened next for a variety of reasons. Happen next slash happen in the next 12 months. As I've said, look, I like Teofimo Lopez, but I just think he is a frustrating fighter to be a fan of and to follow because he has large periods of inactivity, has very hot and cold performances, and then at the same time, he is capable of greatness. Really, he's shown signs of kind of an elite fighter. So we'll see what's next. Final one, Danny, before I let you watch the next fight. Arnold Barboza Jr. He's lost tonight for the first time. I know there was the Sean McComb thing that you're still not over, but just wanted to. How highly do you rate him? Because he's not been outclassed tonight. He beat Jack Catterall in Manchester. Let's not forget that. Is this guy like? Would you consider him like a top five super lightweight, or is that too much of an exaggeration?
Top five. There or thereabouts. I think between 5 and 10. I think he's a good but not great fighter. I
Mm,
think he's in a very good division. I think there's, times gone by where Arnold Barboza would, been a world champion by now. We're going to win over Jose Ramirez past his best, but he was a former unified world champion. I think, in the future it wouldn't surprise me if he does go on to become a world champion. He's not took a lot of damage throughout his career. Tonight, you touched on the Sean McComb fight. Sean McComb, talented fighter, but I can't imagine he took years off Arnold Barboza's career with that performance. He's solid. He lacks a bit of athleticism, doesn't he? He's a bit deliberate with his punches. I mean, the difference in hand speed between him and Teofimo Lopez was, very clear tonight. I think he must be tight at the weight. I mean, I was
yeah.
at the Capital Way and he looked very tight. He looked tight yesterday as well for this. He's what, 5'10" and a bit, I would say. So
Mm.
maybe a move up to welterweight if things die down there. But he's, yeah, as I said, a good but not a great fighter without any disrespect.
Yeah, he's certainly been at that weight for a very long time, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him move up, possibly with Teofimo Lopez. Danny, thank you as always. Appreciate your time, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Cheers, mate.